Well, is there anything else that you might like to share today that maybe I haven't asked you, or anything about your project? Let
What?
me mention this. A while back, I did an Ask Annie about the flood stops, because your project gave me that idea to
Mm-hmm.
include that for an Ask Annie, because um, tell us how that came about, that discussion.
Oh, well, I tell you what, and this again is because the crew paid attention to detail. Okay, what actually happened was, I just so you know, I've been without hot water for the whole time that everything was cut off. Fortunately, I have some skills that I developed from a prior career that I know how to heat water and how to take care of take care of things. So that's neither here nor there. But when the system had been reestablished,
Mm-hmm.
the route because they had to reroute the piping and everything. So when the hot water system had been reestablished, the guys who were doing the plumbing aspect noticed that there was sediment coming out of the faucet. And so he said, that's only one thing. That means that that hot water heater, it has some damage done with it, with the water just sitting in it, even though it had been drained.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, when they got ready to turn the system on, of course, they had to reconnect everything, make sure everything was okay. The challenge being by, even though the water had been drained, it was not bone dry, and there was water with the minerals and everything sitting in there. And so I was about to have a hot water tank leak. Well, what ended up happening was the plumbing guys, took a look at the hot water tank and started assessing the things that were missing that were now a requirement on the tank for safety purposes, i.e., if the water were to start leaking, there was no pan under it. At first, there was no drain.
Wow.
There was none of the things in place that needed to be in place for the protection of the home if a leak were to happen. So what ended up happening was I ended up replacing the hot water tank, but when they installed it, they installed the safety things for if the pressure builds up and if something goes wrong with that, or the little sensor that goes down in the pan, so that if the water does start coming out, it's not going to overflow and it shuts off automatically. I didn't have any of that. I do now.
Yes. And that was a great thing for me to learn also, and to do an Ask Annie about, because a lot of homeowners don't realize, while it will just turn that system off. Now you might still have the hot water tank leak out, which is what I think around 50 gallons of water.
Only what's in the tank.
Yeah, whatever's in the tank at that time. But it will just continue to flood your home because it has cut it off. So I appreciate you sharing that with me.
Yes, ma'am.